There we go.
What show are we? 450, 445,
Yep.
446? I don't know.
445.
How did I miss my absolute favorite, which was 442?
I
But
don't know. I don't know.
as our astute listeners and anyone who is crazy enough to watch this will note, we are breederless. She's under the weather, so.
Yep.
Which I never understood that particular turn of phrase. Under the weather.
Yeah,
Huh?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's somebody. I'm sure somebody knows the what is it? It's etymology when it's a word, but what is it? The origin of phrase called?
Etymology.
Oh, it's all the same. All right. Funny, I'm a word guy, and I should know.
I'm going to Google it.
You're gonna Google it. We're gonna look it up, just for our squirrels, just for our pet squirrels. We're gonna do more research than Senate Democrats. Oh.
Oh. Okay, this makes total sense. It comes from sailing. Originally it meant you were seasick.
Okay, which the condition of the seas being relevant to the weather,
right?
That is understandable. Okay, right. All right. Thanks, Alan.
There you go.
We learned something
That's
tonight,
right.
kids.
We are educational.
That's right. We are educational, and then some.
That's right.
So we have a new Supreme Court justice, don't we, Alan?
Not yet. She's not sworn in, but
not sworn in, but we're confirmed, and just a little tidbit for you. More Republicans voted for Ketanji Brown Jackson than Democrats voted for Amy Coney Barrett, which is why you're not hearing, white supremacists,
But are they really Republicans?
Well, no.
I mean, it was Mitt Romney, and it was
Squish Romney, and
Susan Collins, and some other.
I don't know. I didn't research the actual vote. I just found it very interesting that more Republicans voted for Jackson than Democrats voted for Barrett.
And I mean, the Democrats the Republicans kind of gave like a token fight for the token.
Oh, what you did there. I see it.
Because they knew that they didn't have a chance, right? I mean, this was a done deal from the start. Unless they uncovered something the left couldn't stomach.
Right.
Which was not going to happen. This was a done deal. And I guess they figured, you're replacing one lefty with another lefty. So who cares?
Exactly. And if, something were to happen to one of the right-leaning members of the court after this,
right,
you can say, hey, we confirmed one dubiously qualified.
That won't fly that won't
fly. Of course not. Of course not.
They'll be the next Republican Supreme Court nominee will be worse than Hitler.
But it's just interesting. Again, I keep coming back to, I'm only going to nominate a white male, and the absolute unholy shitstorm that would unleash.
Right.
But I'm only going to consider black females. Perfectly fine.
Yeah. Well, and in addition, like most things that come out of his mouth, it was stupid. He should have kept his mouth shut. I mean, this would have been better. Kept his mouth shut.
Yep.
Said, I'm going to look at all available qualified people.
Yep.
And then if he picked her, everybody would have gone, okay.
Yeah.
He picked a lefty. Okay. Yeah, but otherwise qualified.
And they're making just such this. It's ridiculous. Oh, it's historic.
Yeah, Biden actually voted against the first black woman nominated to be the Supreme Court.
But that doesn't matter.
I actually heard some people talking about the first African American.
Oh yeah, the
first African American. Well, I guess Clarence Thomas not really African American.
Or Thurgood Marshall.
Not because even Thurgood Marshall wouldn't stand up to modern lefty.
Yeah, that's true. He was a liberal at the time, but then again, so was Kennedy.
Right. They would have been.
Kennedy would be. Oh my God, he is like he's Hitler.
Yeah, right. Horrifically right wing at this point.
Oh God, I mean, hated communists, NRA member. Oh my God, that's it. January 6th. January 6th. Did you?
They would have Me Too'd all over him.
Did you? Oh God, oh, good Lord. Did you see? Speaking of January 6th, there were two foreign nationals who bluffed their way into the Secret Service by claiming they were federal agents working on January 6th. I mean, talk about ideologically blinded.
Yeah.
You basically had Steve Martin and Rick Moranis. We are two wild and crazy FBI agents.
Yeah.
Kids, go ask your parents.
Yeah,
we are here to investigate your January 6th insurrection.
Yeah.
They were Borat before Borat was Borat.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Also, another in the long list of things you could never get away with today.
Yeah. Everything Saturday Night Live did when they were still funny.
Fortunately, it's so long ago that nobody knows.
Yeah.
Ah, gosh.
The good old days.
Yeah. Back when SNL was funny. That's before I could legally. Yeah, early 80s. You had Billy Crystal and Eddie Murphy, Joe Piscopo before he got flung off the planet.
Yep.
Rich Hall. We had Rich Hall. There's a name here. I haven't heard that name in a long time. That's my Sir Alec Guinness impression. It's awful.
That was pretty good.
So, who else? Oh God, Tim Kazurinsky. Yep. The little short guy, basically looked like the young guy, the guy from Up. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Oh yeah, even what's his name? The shit. The one that played the British spy spoof.
Oh, Mike Myers.
Mike Myers, right?
Not Michael Myers. That's
Mike. Wasn't he on Saturday? He was on Saturday Night Live.
Was he Saturday Night Live or was he SCTV?
No,
he was Wayne's World. Duh, of course he was Saturday Night Live. Yeah, Wayne's World. You mean they made movies out of Saturday Night Live characters?
Yeah. Back when they could still have an original thought.
Yeah. God. Don't worry, they'll just find something to remake shot for shot.
I was just watching Nerdrotic before this, and he was talking about how the rights to remake Lord of the Rings are up for sale.
God.
Yeah. Can you imagine the woke Lord of the Rings?
Well, they're right off the bat. There are no characters of color in Lord of the Rings.
Right.
I think my favorite was the criticism that the movie Dunkirk did not have enough diversity in it.
I remember that. Yeah. The historical reenactment of the Dunkirk evacuation lacked.
Yes, there weren't
racial diversity.
Yeah, there weren't gay Latinos in the movie, because that was doing.
Actually, it was the British Army, so there probably were a lot of gays.
They're called poofdas, Alan,
and some pedophiles too.
Oh, and pedophiles.
Yep.
Who else can we
insult?
Who else can we offend? We've offended the Hayden's going to be mad now.
Nah, Hayden knows it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Let's see what else. Oh,
the country that gave you what was it, Jimmy Savile? The long running pedophile.
And in other big news, Alan, the UN voted Russia off the Human Rights Council.
Yeah, but they left Syria or some
China,
shit.
Syria, Iran, North Korea.
Yeah, all those other fucking asshole states are still on it. So
it
doesn't mean much.
Russia, you really screwed up. You got Frankie the Pope mad at you.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole thing. The whole it's become impossible to say, they both suck because then you're a Russian apologist.
Yep. Yeah,
You can't say Ukraine was a criminal state already.
You can't even say it might not be the best idea in the world to back Vladimir Putin into a corner. Oh, you're a Putin apologist. Maybe I don't want to leave the former KGB head with access to nukes feeling like, fuck it, I got nothing to lose.
Right. I don't know. I think after all this, Russia's going to come off stronger and better than they were going into it.
And everyone out there going, oh, Ukraine's going to win this. I'm like, your definition of win and mine are radically different. Yes, they are stating that they've won certain engagements, and they may very well have.
Well, at the end of all this, if there's still a Ukraine, they'll say Ukraine won.
Right.
No matter how diminished it is.
It's absolutely just demented that this has become a polarizing thing.
Right.
That and I've seen it in online debates where someone's like, I don't know if we should be, jumping up and down here about what's going on. This isn't the greatest thing. You're a Putin apologist. And again, I'm going to come back to, we spent 1945 to 2016, where Russia's not the enemy. Russia's really great. Russia's wonderful. Those warmongering Republicans are the ones saying that Russia's bad. What's wrong with them? And then, boom, Russia's the enemy.
Yep.
We've always been at war with East Asia. And nobody is, hold on a second. You same motherfuckers were laughing at Mitt Romney for claiming Russia was a problem 10 years ago. Oh, look at this deluded fool.
That's how it works.
Yeah. And of course, the other big news, of course, is Elon Musk is now the majority shareholder in Twitter, which is hysterical.
Heads exploding all over the lefty sphere.
Yeah. Oh, they're quitting en masse. Good.
Yeah, was it the New York Times? I think the editors at the New York Times told their reporters to spend less time on Twitter. Like, really?
Well, it kind of explains a lot, doesn't it?
I don't know. I don't know what Elon's thinking. I don't. I mean, we don't know.
He's fucking with people. That's what he's thinking.
Yeah, he spent some chump change to troll the shit out of the.
He's got fuck you money,
right?
And that was basically a go ahead, fuck with me. I'll buy
51%. It may also be like, are you gonna kick him off of Twitter now that he's on the board of directors? See, that's what Trump should have done. Trump should have got on the board of directors and then go now kick me off, motherfuckers.
Yeah. Well, I think it's hysterical that Putin is still on Twitter.
Oh,
and Donald Trump is not.
Well, yeah. Because as bad as Putin is,
he's not
a direct threat to the Democrats' ambitions of power.
Yeah, so. and most of the Republicans too. Let's be honest here.
Oh yeah,
the business of business, as it were.
Right.
But
the business of screwing the country and raking in whatever's left over.
Speaking of screwing the country, I didn't get as deep into this as I wanted to last week out of deference to Brita and not boring her literally to death. But did we all catch the new regulations passed by the Biden administration?
Which ones?
For road vehicles and the cafe standards?
Well, they got to average 40 miles an hour now.
40 miles per gallon by 2026.
Yeah. File that under not going to happen.
3 model years.
Yeah. You know what they're going to start doing, Jay? Since trucks don't fall under the cafe standards, they're just going to produce less cars.
Right.
And
Well,
the ones
Ford's already done that. They
Right.
literally only have the Mustang.
they have the Mustang, and they have the electric Mustang, and they have
That's an
trucks.
SUV. Well, it's electric. It doesn't matter anyway. But
Right. Oh, and you can bet the electric vehicles will count. There's got to be some kind of, infinite
well, that's just it.
infinite
how do you
mileage.
count that?
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
How does that work? I mean, they get
They get some
infinite
kind
number of miles per gallon.
They got to get some kind of credit for
Although
that.
I think though they do have like a miles per gallon equivalent.
Right.
So I'm sure that'll factor in. And
yeah, sure, but it's going to be like 60, 70 miles a gallon plus, right? I mean,
it's just like the minimum wage.
Right.
Why stop at 40? Why not 100? Make it 100. Every car has to get 100 miles per gallon.
Sure.
You're basically stating a physical impossibility. There is literally no way you can get the fleet average to 40 short of we are no longer making any trucks, any SUVs, any large cars, any medium-sized cars, anything other than tiny little four-door hatchbacks.
Well, the trucks don't count already.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The light trucks,
because they're trucks. Only cars and SUVs and minivans and stuff like that. Only those count. So, but yeah, I mean, in order for the fleet average to be 40, that means you got to have a significant number of vehicles that get 50, 60 plus. And that's just not going to happen.
Right. For every Dodge Challenger that gets 20 miles per gallon,
right,
you've got to have a 60 mile per gallon something.
Well, you know what this means is it's the end of the V8.
Yeah. Yep.
It's gonna, if that ruling doesn't get reversed, it's the end of the V8.
And I thought Obama was bad with the 50 mile per gallon, but that was by like 2050. That was at least there's some time to, engineer and whatnot. This is just, this is a big sloppy wet kiss to the greenies.
It is. It's impossibility because that is too soon. They can't. The design cycle won't account for that.
Right.
There's probably, if you read down into it, there's probably some sort of like carbon offset bullshit or something like that that they can accounting gimmicks that they can use to offset it, and then they'll be like, oh yes, we've met the ruling.
Right. And or in 2024, assuming that they can't cheat their way again,
right,
and the reins of power change, and the Republican president says that's ridiculous and overrules it, and is immediately, he hates the environment, or she hates the environment.
Right.
Because I'm not a biologist.
Right.
Actually, I am.
How could you tell,
Well, like I said, I actually am a biologist, but, yes.
Yeah.
So how can we say she's the first African-American woman on the Supreme Court? We're not biologists.
No.
See, I think before she's sworn in, I think you ought to get somebody like Gorsuch to be like, I'm a woman.
Clarence Thomas.
Clarence Thomas.
Oh,
Bitches.
yes. He could identify as a woman, and that would make him the first African-American woman on the Supreme
Just
Court.
before she's sworn. Oh my God, that would be the most wonderful thing ever.
Troll master.
Just watch Clarence Thomas. You will refer to me as Clarissa Thomas.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I identify as a woman.
I've been. Oh my God. The sound you would hear would be heads popping like ticks. Oh my God.
Great.
That would be hysterical. That would be the funniest damn thing ever.
Yep.
What was it? The three things we've learned about leftists. What was it that? God damn it. Sucks getting old. But basically, it was men can be women, men can be the women of the year. And, and that in the case of Clarence Thomas, men really need to control their wives better. That was
right.
Absolutely
and Epstein didn't kill
priceless.
himself.
And what? And
And
Epstein didn't kill himself. Yes, well, we've known that. I'm quite frankly shocked that Ghislaine Maxwell is still alive. There's got to be one hell of a dead man switch.
I don't know.
There's got to be something pretty significant there.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You know, I can't. It's inexplicable that you know they must be really confident that she's not gonna talk.
Like I said, they're either really confident she's not going to talk, or she
got the message,
or she's got enough information in enough places.
That's true. That could be too.
You know, with enough. You know,
if I die, this all gets released.
I am not suicidal.
Right.
And there are many people with redundant copies who have been instructed to go directly to the media, directly to Fox News.
Yep.
Peter Ducey gets 2 copies. Oh, God.
Well, they'll claim it's Russian disinformation, like Hunter's notebook.
Yes, like Hunter's laptop that 17 months later, they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, it's legit.
Yeah. When it doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
So how do you think they're going to get rid of Biden? Because it's come pretty fucking obvious that that's in the works. I mean, you saw that video of Obama at the White House. And Biden wandering around and absolutely everyone completely ignoring him.
I actually almost felt bad for Joe Biden because it was so.
He's such an asshole. I didn't feel sorry at all.
Yes. But the whole thing is the lack of respect. Again, we were attacked on September 11th because the United States was viewed in certain communities as weak. What the fuck does that bumbling fucking senile pants shitter? What message does having him as the leader of the fucking United States, what does that send to the world?
Yeah, exactly that.
You know, that you have this doddering, senile, completely out of his element, wandering around. I mean, it was like someone's grandpa wandered away from the handlers. Over here. But they couldn't even be bothered to have somebody go over and be like, hey, let's go talk to this person.
They didn't care.
He was so irrelevant.
Right.
I mean, they're going to have to do something to Jill Biden for starters, because she ain't giving that up.
No. Well, that's what I'm wondering is how do they get rid of him? And then if they do, you got Kamala sitting over there.
Cackling
who,
over in
although she's technically not senile, she's dumb as a box of rocks.
She is everything the left accused Dan Quayle of being, and then some.
Right.
You know, I mean, again, every time she talks about a subject, she has no clue. It's the kid who didn't read the book.
Right.
You know, well, Ukraine is a country in Europe, and Russia is a bigger country. It was like, if you're explaining this to kindergartners, that's one thing. If you're giving a press conference, no.
So if you're a Democrat, and assuming Pelosi survives her COVID,
she has all that ice cream,
and you're a Democrat, do you get rid of him before the 2022 election? Because
there's not enough time. There's
right.
Not anything.
Or do you accept that the Republicans are going to gain control and let them get rid of him for you?
You wait until exactly. That's exactly what you do. You wait, assuming that they can't cheat the House and Senate. I'm still not convinced. I'm still not convinced that there won't be more November 2020 shenanigans.
Well, those races are harder to cheat than the presidential.
They are, and they're going, like the Virginia governor's race, they're going to be very closely watched.
Right.
They're not going to be able to get away with, oh, you can all go home. We'll finish counting in the morning. You're going to be like, oh, the fuck you are.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay right here with my camera right now.
Yeah. There won't. I just, well, if, you know, of course they'll cheat. They'll cheat everything they can. But I just think the opportunities are a lot less.
There has to be a lot more coordination
because
dozen.
especially for the House races, because they're so granular.
Right.
You know, there's no opportunity for a major metropolitan area to throw the House race.
Right.
It just can't happen.
And the ones that could affect are already solid.
They're already They're already Democrat. They're going to stay that way. So,
you know, assuming that, and it's one of those things that the Republicans could gain 50 seats and they'll be like, well, clearly there's a lot of white supremacists out there. I mean, that's, you know, that it's going to be downplayed, even if it's a wave that makes 94 look small. It's still going to be downplayed. Even if they take, I almost wonder if the Republicans taking the House and Senate is going to be a boon to Biden, because he can now sit back and blame the Republicans for everything.
Exactly. Of course that'll happen.
You know, and it's going to be, well, I want to do this, but
except they'll impeach him the next day.
You have a lot of faith in Republicans.
No, they're going to, there's going to be enough pressure to impeach him the minute he might not get convicted in the Senate, but the House will impeach him the minute they can. If the Republicans get control, they're going to impeach him.
I hope you're right.
They have to. And they have to because of what the Democrats did to Trump. And they have to show the Democrats that
100% agree with you. And it should be done in the same speed, the second impeachment. It should be 1 week from the time the Republicans are sworn in to the time they have the articles drafted and approved.
Absolutely.
And we know what they're going to do. Oh, how dare they race to impeachment? This is ridiculous. Or this is unprecedented. You know, they will flat out fucking lie.
Right.
Because they can.
Sure.
Because Twitter and Facebook and CNN are all going to be like, no. The second impeachment never happened. That was about the insurrection. Insurrection. Did we mention insurrection?
Right.
I don't think the Republicans have the stones. I really don't. They're a bunch of squishy fucking dish rags with no spines.
Oh,
yeah. Mitt Romney is a paragon of fucking manliness compared to the body as a whole. There will be, Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz will be out there. There will be a handful who are like, oh, no. And the worst part is there's actual meat to impeach Biden. Sure. There is actual, you look at the contents of that laptop where they're talking about we're going to grant access to world leaders because they donated to the campaign. There's legitimate documented quid pro quo that they kept accusing Trump of with no evidence. Oh, there was evidence. They faked it, but there was evidence.
Even if you ignore that, there's plenty of other reasons. The border, the COVID. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons. The border alone is enough.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That we still have to wear masks getting on an airplane, but they've got, hundreds of thousands of undocumented people coming through with no, they're not being checked and they're not being vetted, just right through.
Right. Red carpet. Come on in.
Oh, and we're going to fly you, across the country in the middle of the night and resettle you in areas without telling anybody.
Oh, except the Texas governor just announced he's going to bus them to Washington, D.C.
Again, that's cute, but it's never going to happen.
It's a PR stunt, but it was a good one.
I mean, good. Like I said, I do want to see Abbott run just so he can, he can win to be sworn in to be like, I'm the first disabled president. Oh, I know. You can show all the footage of FDR in a wheelchair.
That doesn't exist.
Oh, you lost that footage. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But, because if they impeach, I wonder, if they were to impeach.
Well, they could do it this way, Jay. They could do
what I'm saying is you run a Nixon. You run a Nixon where you tell Biden he's got to step down because the Republicans have the votes to remove him from office, and you don't want to be the first president removed from office. That might be how they get Jill to step aside.
Or if you're the Republicans, you let the House impeach him, and then the Senate doesn't vote to convict, and the Democrats are stuck with Biden because now they have to support him.
Yeah, that's a point. That's a point, and
now they're stuck with him. And if you're a cold-hearted Republican and you're looking at 2024, you kind of want to run against Biden.
Yeah, that's I don't think it would be hard to have Biden just not run for re-election.
He's already said he would. So
yeah, but that could be one of those. My health isn't. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, they could.
That would not be out of the ordinary. For Biden to leave office prematurely would be very unusual, and the last president to do that was Nixon.
Right.
You invite the inevitable by having him leave office before his term is up. And you leave the door open to what was really going on, what was really on that laptop, what's happening with the big guy that we weren't being told. Well, he makes it to 2024, and I'm not as good at health as I was. This job takes an incredible toll, and nobody would deny that. You look at George Bush, 2000, George Bush 2008, Barack Obama 2008, Barack Obama 2016.
Clinton, same way.
Exactly. Everyone except Ronald Reagan, but it takes a toll. It very clearly takes a toll, and there's a lot that's gone on. It would not be out of the ordinary at all for Joe Biden to just say, I saved the country from Donald Trump, and for my own health and for my family, I'm not going to run for re-election. I'd step down. But, and again, if you've got credible evidence that he will be impeached and or removed from office, and that might be the one thing that stops the Republicans from impeaching him. If they work a backroom deal, tell you what, he doesn't run again. Whether that works or not, I don't know. I think there's a strong point to be made that
I can't
after what happened in January of 2021, there's going to be a strong call for, especially just what we've seen with Hunter alone.
Right.
They're right there is conduct unbecoming.
Yeah. There's gonna be a huge chunk of Republicans that are gonna want the impeachment. And it probably would be enough to carry the whole, carry it to an actual impeachment process. Because somebody's going to introduce articles of impeachment.
Yeah. Oh, somebody will. I mean, there's no question. That
right.
They'll get whether it's Boebert or Taylor Greene
or Cruz or somebody, or not Cruz because he's not there, but somebody will do it, and then in the Senate they'll, if assuming he gets impeached, they'll have a Senate vote. But I forget, is it 50-50 in the Senate or is it 64? I don't remember.
To remove it's 60-40.
Yeah. So I don't see that happening.
Right.
I don't see the Republicans gaining that.
They're not gaining 10 seats now.
Right. I just don't see it. They'll gain the majority, likely. There's a good chance that they could gain the majority, but not
considering that they need 2 seats.
Right. Yeah. But I don't see them unless there's an epic fucking landslide of some sort, which, who knows?
Yeah.
But realistically, I don't see them getting enough to carry a 60-40 unless they get enough Democrats that are willing to get rid of Biden.
If they get to 58, you could probably convince Manchin and Sinema.
Yeah.
Because they've gotten shit on.
Right.
Big time.
Yeah, they have.
and you can't, and that's why I'm almost optimistic, Alan, because we've had 2 years where Biden has controlled the presidency, the Democrats control the House, the Democrats control the Senate. They've always controlled the media,
Right.
and they still haven't. We don't have a $30 an hour minimum wage. We don't have a $15,000 a year universal basic income. We don't have all of
We don't have student loan forgiveness.
Free college for everyone.
Yeah, we don't have mandatory CRT everywhere. We don't have,
Green New Deal.
Yeah, none of that.
The fact that he hasn't rolled in the Ocasio-Cortez wet dream list.
Right.
The radical left that showed up in droves to vote against Donald Trump, they're just going to stay home. And after 2 years of the debacle in Afghanistan and just the absolute unmitigated shit show we've seen for the past 2 years, or year and 3 months, 4 months.
It'll be the economy that does it more than anything. You can argue about whether Afghanistan was enough or whether the Russia thing was enough, but the economy, paying $4 to $6 at the gas pump, that's the end. That's the end. And the Democrats won't survive in power in the House and Senate based on
grocery bill has doubled, and
right.
The cost of new cars has doubled.
If you can find one.
Yeah. The fact that we still haven't done shit about the supply chain crisis. It's,
right.
Well, I mean, according to CBS, that only started when Russia invaded Ukraine.
Yeah, that was it. Right.
And again, you can say that, the news can cover all they want. When people go to the grocery store and there's fucking bare shelves more than 2 years after the start of COVID, that's not a momentary disruption.
Yep.
That is, you have fundamentally fucking broken things and not fixed them. And rather than trying to fix them, you're just, who can I blame for this? I'm surprised they haven't blamed the insurrectionists from January 6th for the supply chain problems.
Or they're just making it worse too. I mean, they're actively making it worse.
Right.
The Keystone Pipeline didn't have to get
right.
Biden did that the day he was sworn in.
No more exploration, no more drilling.
So, we went from being a net oil exporter to a net oil importer in a year.
The simple fact is, people remember the gas was $2 a gallon in 2020,
right?
And it's $5 or $6 in spots. And it's leveling off right up until Memorial Day.
Right. Yeah. Wait till summer gets here.
Yeah, exactly. It always goes up the kickoff of summer.
Right.
Especially this year.
Right.
Because this is going to be the first real summer in 2 years.
Right.
We've pretty much admitted that, COVID is dead.
Oh yeah.
They tried to rally and said, there's another variant.
Fauci crawled out from under his rock and started going on about, we might need another lockdown, or we might need more masks, or, and everybody told him to shut up and go the fuck away.
Yeah. Bye. Yeah. And then the second booster's out, and they're already finding out that it offers literally no protection.
Nothing at all. Like, what was it? 4 weeks, I think. Yay.
Yeah. It's like, no, it's done. And people are going to be, trying to resume their lives.
Yeah.
Of course.
They tried to pass that mandatory vaccine thing in Germany. It was like everybody 60 and older was going to had to be mandated to get the vaccine, and that died.
Well, the optics of the Germans forcing people to have medical things done, probably.
Yeah.
Somebody went, hey, that's probably not the look we want.
Yeah, but even in Europe, they can't. Everybody's done with it. It's
And England basically said, "Fuck you, we're done.
Right.
No more masks, no more."
And Pelosi, who is the queen of everybody work from home. I mean, the entire House of Representatives has worked from home for 2 years plus. They've done vaccine mandates and required masks and everything else.
Yep.
And yet here she is with COVID.
Yep.
So that worked out well.
and it hit the point where we're like, we're done, and
Right.
you can't use it anymore. You're not going to be able to ride it through the midterms, because people are done.
The economy is the thing now. And there's no, the press can't get around it.
Yeah,
The politicians can't get around it. People see
can't-
it every single day.
Exactly. And you
Every
can't hide
single-
it. You can't, the thing is, it's not even that you can't hide it. It's that you can't deflect by blaming someone else. Nobody fucking cares.
Right.
And the fact is, at the end of the day, you control all three.
Right.
House, Senate, presidency. Supreme Court ain't ruling on the fucking economy. So that doesn't matter.
No.
And if anybody, if you can fix it, why haven't you?
Right.
And if you can't fix it, then maybe we need someone who can.
Right. Or just somebody different.
And your light keeps going on and off. I'm sorry.
It automatically comes on at sunset. I just turned it off again.
Just like I thought I saw it come on. I was like,
yeah, it's irritating back there. So I turned it back off.
It's just one of those things. I'm like, we still got the heat kicking on, which it's been like cold and rainy. It's been like perfect mid-November weather for the past week.
Yeah,
I'm sure it'll be 95 degrees next week.
Yeah, we had a crazy dry day. It got down to like 14% humidity. In Houston, which is unheard of.
That's when you get like spontaneous nosebleeds.
Oh yeah, but Houston's like Houston is the humidity capital of the U.S.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's worse than Florida.
You're right up there with like Savannah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's like 80-90% every day, even when it's 80 or 90 degrees. You've been here, you walk out of the airport and you're like I'm breathing liquid.
Let me chew my way through the air. Yes. Yeah, you guys don't have a lot of cars without air conditioning.
Oh yeah, that's not a thing. Nobody would live here without air conditioning. I can't believe people came here before there was air conditioning. That just seemed like, what the fuck was wrong with them?
Oh, just wait. We'll be back there soon enough.
Well, there people be leaving. Everybody's moving to the Sun Belt now, out of California and New York.
Yeah,
and if they fuck up the energy situation where people can't run air conditioners, you see the people leave. They'll just go straight north again.
You bring millions of electric cars online without doubling our infrastructure.
That's just not going to happen, Jay. They can't. The battery capacity doesn't exist for that many electric cars. These people that are mandating this crap don't understand basic engineering. And
it's not that they don't
scaling.
understand, Alan. They don't care.
Well, but you can't. There's not enough.
You can't wave your hand and say, cars have to be twice as fuel efficient in 3 years, and expect to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
And it's not only are they not being laughed out of office. Anyone who says that's not possible is, wow, clearly you hate the environment. Why do you want to kill the turtles? Like, because they started shit with Mario, God damn it.
Yeah, it's all their fault.
God, and you're looking at it from a logic standpoint and a fact standpoint, Alan. You're not looking at it from a feeling standpoint.
Yeah.
See, the internal combustion engine is bad. Gasoline is bad. Here's the other thing. Okay, drilling for oil is bad. Are you going to give up all the shit that you own that's made out of plastic?
Of course not.
Funniest fucking thing I ever saw was a Tesla with a no oil vanity plate. I'm like, oh, there's no plastic in that car?
It's
because guess where plastic comes from, you stupid jackass? It's a petroleum product.
Yeah. Plus
your tires, petroleum product. Well, I mean,
plus all
rubber, but they're refined with
all the oil that went into manufacturing
Yeah.
that car.
All the heavy equipment that strip mined the lithium for your battery,
Right.
powered by oil.
Yep.
It's still the currency upon which this world turns. And it's not going to change for a long time. And you can't mandate that out of existence.
Nope.
You can't force it. And it's very analogous to the whole climate change thing. That if you were to incentivize research and development into new battery technology and new methods, like I said, I still think the plug and play is the way to go. That you get the batteries to a point where you can pull into a station, pull out the empty batteries, put in new batteries, and you're gone. That's when it's going to change as far as, more acceptance.
Right.
When you can go on a cross-country trip and you swing your local.
Yeah, when you can get a recharge in the same amount of time it would take to fill up your tank with gas.
Exactly. And the only way we're going to be able to do that with current technology is like your propane tank. Perfect example.
Even think about it. Imagine a battery that has 10 times the capacity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
You're still going to have a charging time.
Yep.
It's not,
that's exactly it. And
it doesn't matter. You're still going to have a charging time associated with it. And it's not going to be 10 minutes. It's going to be, it's no matter, like say you get 100x battery capacity and you manage to increase the charge capacity 100x. You still got a 20 or 30 minute charge time. That's not going away. And that's the best case.
Even like the Tesla with the supercharger, you read the fine print, that harms the battery.
Yes, it does.
Like over time, you're going to significantly degrade the capacity of the battery. And those batteries are fucking expensive.
Yes, they are.
The Tesla batteries are like
so expensive, it's not worth replacing them.
Right.
And that applies to every electric car now.
Right.
That's why almost no one buys an electric car. They lease them.
Yep.
Because why would you buy something that, at the end of 3 or 4 years, you're going to have to spend another $30,000-$40,000 replacing the battery pack.
Right. Again, down the road, we will solve this. I have absolute faith that we will solve this.
Absolutely.
And maybe it's not even batteries. Maybe it's personal nuclear.
It could be personal nuclear. It could be, it could be capacitors. It could be, there's all kinds of things it could be.
But if you force it, it's a lot like climate change. If you force it, if you just thrust it upon people and bring about this massive, you try to bring about a massive cataclysmic change instantly, you're going to get a backlash. You're going to get people who are like, well, fuck you then. I'm resurrecting the Dodge V10 and I'm going to drive around with the emergency brake on with my air conditioning in 4-wheel drive.
There you go.
Getting 8 gallons per mile. And you just, it's like, again, with, the climate change. Well, then I'm going to turn my heater up to 80 in the winter and the air conditioning's on at 65 in the summer because you're not the boss of me. That's who we are. We're Americans, damn it.
Yep.
Tell us not to do something. Well, guess I'm doing it.
Right.
Tell us to do something. Well, guess I'm not doing it.
Yep.
And
that's how it works.
You push. This is just the cafe standards is just so egregious and so nonsensical, and it's just unscientific. The same people that spent 2 years going follow the science, follow the science, follow the science. Oh, we can double mileage in 3 years.
Yeah,
really. You're going to make gas engines twice as efficient in 2 years' time.
Those are the people that think that believe the myth of the 100-mile-an-hour carburetor that GM bought and then sat on.
What is it? The turbo encabulator.
Yeah.
Or
the car that runs on water.
On water, yes, exactly. Oh, yeah. Hydrogen. Hydrogen cars.
Either.
Sure. All you have to do is just separate hydrogen from oxygen. That's all you got to do. It's just hydrolyzed water. Come on, it's all you need to do.
I'm not a chemist, Jay, but doesn't it take more energy to separate hydrogen from water than you get from burning hydrogen that you've separated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Kind of dumb.
it's your 100 mile per gallon carburetor. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's there ain't no such thing as a free lunch, and it's
Right.
never as true as in engineering or chemistry.
Yep.
But and again, we're gonna put this massive new electric demand on our system, but we're not bringing any more nuclear power plants online.
Oh no, it's wind.
It's wind and solar. Wind and solar are going to make up the difference. No, they're not.
Mm-mm.
No, they're not. They've been selling solar panels for 40 years. Well, I mean, a lot longer, but we've been told that solar panels are the way to go for 40 years, at least.
Yep. Except they're not.
And they work passably well for individual homes in sunny areas.
Well, they sort of kind of work.
Exactly.
They work. The only way you can claim they work is because they feed the power into the electric grid.
Right.
And then the house draws power at night and things like that, because there's no, in order to run your house completely off of solar, like off the grid,
you need a giant ass capacitor.
You need a huge battery plant.
Yep.
And it needs to be sized enough for your electric load, not just at night, but during the days when it's cloudy.
Yep. And in the winter when you don't get a lot of sun just to begin with.
Right.
And the other thing is doing the math. Solar panels are like what? I don't know, 25, 30 grand.
I have no idea, but every time I do the math, if you go look on the things, it's always a 30-year payoff.
And my question, of course, is how long do they last?
Not 30 years.
How long do they last in the real world, where you get ice and snow and wind and hail and?
Well, they also degrade over time. Their energy output from equivalent solar radiation drops.
My electric bill in the summer when I'm running the air conditioning is $200 a month. It's a lot less in the winter, but let's say $200 a month. $2,400 a year, and that's really not applicable, because 6 to 8 months out of the year it's more like 100
or less. Yeah.
So let's say $2,000 a year for electricity. Just say, make the math easy. So the system's 30 grand. That's 15 years just to break even.
Right.
So that system has to work perfectly. And I draw nothing off of the existing grid.
Yeah, but that doesn't happen.
Exactly. For 15 years at a minimum. If it's more like $1,500 a year.
Yeah.
Because there's only really July and August are the only $200 months. If it's 15, now we're like, well, there's a 20-year break even. It's like, I'm a big fan of doing the math. When the Prius first got real popular and everybody wanted it back in the mid 2000s, when gas prices shot up to $4 a gallon the first time, right after I bought a big V8 pickup truck, I remember sitting in the dealership looking at a Corolla and a Prius right next to each other, comparably equipped, and the Prius was $10,000 more.
Right.
And I'm like, even at $4 a gallon, you'd have to commute like 20,000 miles a year for like 10 years to make up the difference in price.
Right. Yeah. And the Corolla gets like what, 28, 29, 30
it's in the 30s. Yeah. It's not bad.
Right.
It's not like I was, you have to compare it to, like a Corvette or a Challenger or something ridiculous.
Right.
Which even today, even those don't get terrible.
Even I was going to say, even those, it's not worth getting electric for. If you're just worried about miles per gallon and saving money at the gas pump, you can't buy an electric car that's cheap enough to offset
Right.
what
Hybrid car, electric car, forget. But even hybrids.
No, even hybrids.
Ooh,
The only reason I have a hybrid truck isn't because of the hybrid. It's because of the 7 kilowatt generator.
Yes,
that's why I have it. I don't give a flip about the hybrid part of it.
You didn't buy it as a hybrid to save gas.
No, of course not. It's a pickup truck. I'm not stupid.
That's the people who buy a Prius and I'm better for the environment.
Right.
Bullshit.
No, you're not.
The Geo Metro got better gas mileage than your Prius will ever dream of.
It was cheaper, didn't have the lithium.
And exactly. And they literally couldn't give them away. They ended up in rental fleets. They were the bottom of the barrel. Yeah. This is all you could afford because you needed a rental for a week.
They were the $30, They were the $30 a day car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got a little cheap ass Geo Metro.
Yep.
And nobody wanted them, and they just quietly died. You know, and we have this insane aversion to diesel engines. I wish I knew why. I'm sure there's a reason.
Yeah, there is. It's because the emissions thing for cars.
I figured as much because
that's why that's why nobody has a problem with diesel trucks, because they don't fall under the emissions thing.
But why don't we have the Toyota Hilux? I would be all over,
because in order to make that vehicle sellable in the US market with the crash test standards and the emission standards, they couldn't make it.
Exactly. It's like I said, I've said all along, I watch Top Gear and they've got these little tiny cars with little tiny diesels that get 75 miles per gallon.
Yep.
You're serious about wanting to end, wean our dependence from oil and make cars more efficient? Let those fucking cars in. I would love a diesel Polo or a diesel Up, a little diesel Volkswagen that got a zillion miles per gallon.
Not going to happen.
But nope. Tell me you're not serious about improving the fleet efficiency without telling me you're not serious about improving the fleet efficiency.
Yep.
There's so much we could do. How come those cars are okay in Europe? We're always told, why can't we be more like Europe? Well, how come we can't have those cars? Why doesn't the entire French auto industry sell cars here?
Well, they sell Jeeps.
Well, those are Italian, aren't they?
Well, there's something else now. Is it Stellantis? It's not even Italian anymore. It's
I don't know. I haven't been paying attention. I don't know.
I did look at there was somebody put it on MeWe, I think. It was a report of car sales in this year versus last year, and they were looking at, and I was looking at you think now it's a fluke because this year's been really hard, but they sell more fucking Jeeps than almost anything else.
That does not surprise me.
Like 160,000 fucking Jeeps, and then
have you priced you own a used Jeep?
Yeah,
Yeah, I still see they're psychotic.
I know
they're absolutely psychotic.
Even
expensive.
Even before the used car price increase.
Oh yeah.
Used Jeeps.
It's almost independent. It's like I was flipping through. I love cars. I'm always looking at cars. I had to talk myself off the ledge, Alan.
Oh shit!
Somebody in Northern Virginia had a 1990 Cadillac Sedan DeVille. $3,500. And I was like, me wanty. And I was like, no.
Nice.
The problem is it's the archetypal American land barge with all of the American dependability of a 1990 Cadillac.
Yep.
And things like that. And it was a 2012 4-door Wrangler with big tires, and it was only 20 grand. I was like, interesting. Hold on. 280,000 miles, which I was impressed. I'm like, well, son of a bitch. What number engine are you on? But
no,
I was gonna say
they're
that
pretty good.
The engines are pretty decent.
Yeah.
They're along the lines of the Dodge Dart. They don't really develop enough power to tear themselves apart.
That's right. They've underspec the
they
the
very
Jeep
wisely
engine.
don't put V8s in Wranglers.
Well, they do now.
Do they?
Yeah, they
In
make
Wranglers.
Yeah, they make a model with a 392.
Oh, that's the big Hemi.
Yeah, they make a V8 Wrangler now.
Now, see, I knew they'd done that with the Grand Cherokee, the Trailhawk, whatever,
The Trailhawk,
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. No, they make a and it does some god awful crazy, and it's four-wheel drive all the time.
That makes sense.
With that much power going through the drivetrain, it's four-wheel drive all the time.
At that point, it's all-wheel drive, isn't it?
It is all-wheel drive, but it's not, and the reason they're not selling to the serious hardcore off-roaders like you would think.
That's not an
because
off-road.
The transfer case is not the good transfer case, right? Because it's four-wheel drive all the time, and it's
too much power,
right?
For
it really is.
when you need precision power.
Yeah,
it's not.
Right.
It's a sledgehammer when you need like a
Yep. Yeah, mine
cobbling
does,
hammer.
Yeah, mine does 200 horsepower, which is crazy high for a Jeep historically.
For a Wrangler, that's
the
old
Jeeps were, the old like CJs and stuff, they were like 100.
Yeah.
And then,
oh God, my sister had one of the square headlight Jeeps.
Oh yeah, the
93 with the 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
And I distinctly
2.4
remember.
liter. Yeah.
What's it?
2.4 liters.
Yeah, there's something like that. I distinctly remember having that thing on the highway in fifth gear with the accelerator pressed to the floor, going 53 miles an hour.
Yep, those are seriously underpowered.
It could not get out of its own way.
But you take that Jeep and put it in 4-low.
Yep.
And it can just trundle up over everything.
And that's exactly it. And, God, I taught my sister how to drive a standard in that Jeep. And that was fun. It was great. She did wonderful once she stopped putting it in third on a hill, trying to get going.
Clunk. Clunk. Yeah, I was teaching my daughter how to drive the Jeep a couple of months ago. And, she stalled 5 times just going down the street. And I was like, this is perfectly okay. You're learning the feel.
Yep.
And if, you stall it enough, and then you learn how to not stall it, and that's just how it works.
And you learn the point where it catches and all that. And I've been thinking I need to. I haven't driven a standard in over 20 years at this point. Probably more.
Yeah, but you still commute.
Probably, yeah. And
that's why you don't drive a standard, because you commute.
Well,
and driving a standard on a commute is hell.
That's the thing. I only go in once a week.
Oh, well, there you go.
So I'm like,
time to get that old 911 from
dude. I've talked myself off of that ledge. No, but I'm looking at, down the road, I want a Tacoma. That's my big thing. And I'm like, the problem is if I get a standard, my wife can't drive it, which isn't really a problem, but that's neither here nor there. But I don't know if I want the hassle of.
I wouldn't get a standard in a pickup truck. Not these days.
What I've been thinking is find a 10-year-old, Miata, something like that, little 2-seater sports car, 4-cylinder. I could throw the top down, throw it in the garage. Yeah. That can be the standard.
Yeah.
To play with.
That'd be fun.
But I also need a bigger garage because I ain't giving up the motorcycles. So yet.
Well, that's a standard.
Those are standards, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. but it's completely different. It's
Yeah,
it's not
not
you're
the
not doing the pedals. Although I guess I mean you're shifting with your feet instead of your hands, and
right.
you're hitting the clutch with your hand instead of your foot.
Yeah.
And
And you actually have more control over the clutch with your hand than you do with your foot. It's the finer motor skill.
yeah, and it's I mean, shit. I learned how to drive a standard on a non-hydraulic clutch and the old manual clutch, where you had to find that exact
Oh yeah. You find the spot where it
millimeter
kicks
where
out. Yeah.
this is not like I mean, hell, I had a my first Dodge Ram was a standard, and it just had a power band. You could start it in second, you could start it in third, not a problem. You let the clutch out all day long.
Yep.
Yeah, there it goes.
You ever drive a pickup truck with a manual shift with 3 on the tree?
I owned a 1981 Chevy Stepside for 2 days.
Oh,
I bought
okay.
it for $1 off
Oh,
of a
nice.
friend of a friend, and basically drove it around. I had to provide a spare tire to put on and a battery, which I did, and went down, drove it. Okay, I was going to take it off his hands once it moved, and came back a couple days later, and there was a tire with a battery on top of it. He's like, my mom had it towed to the junkyard. I at least got your tire for you. I was
Wow.
like, aw. This was
Well.
back in the days when you could just write out a bill of sale, and
Yeah.
it was so old that it didn't need it. But yeah, 3 on the tree, and it would change. It was like up. It was first, second, third.
Yep.
And, sometimes third was down here, and sometimes reverse was down here.
Yeah, those were fun.
Oh God.
And the synchronizers would always go out.
It's just kind of guess,
All the good old days. Grind it till you find it.
Just can't find them. Grind them. Crunch, crunch, crunch. Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, it's funny because you still hear like, oh, I want a standard because they're faster and I take control. But it's like, no,
not anymore.
That's not true anymore. Back in the days, the 3-speed General Motors transmission, yes, you could shift a 5-speed transmission much more efficiently and faster and whatnot.
Sure.
These, wife just got a new car. She got an Accord. It has a 10-speed automatic transmission. Yep. It's insane.
Yeah, that's what my truck has.
And yeah, I don't even
honestly
know.
I can't tell when my truck shifts. If I didn't have a little thing on the dash that told me what gear it was in, I can't feel it when it shifts.
My RAV4 has 6 gears. That I know that because it's got the little. You can shift the gears yourself if you want. And I do it occasionally and pretend. My left foot just taps on the phantom clutch. Yeah, I try to keep myself in practice. There we go. But yeah. I see. It's a 2015 Toyota, and I just kicked over 62,000 miles. It's the past 2 years have been wonderful.
Oh yeah,
I've kept the mileage down.
My truck is almost a year old now, and it still has less than 2,000 miles on it.
Oof. Well, I mean, you do have the Jeep, so you've got 2 vehicles.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I don't drive anything very often. I go to the grocery store, I mean, I don't drive to work.
I haven't. I'm going to fill up this weekend, and it will be the first time in 3 weeks. It's like I don't even know what the going rate for gas has gone up to.
In May, I'm driving it out to Moab.
Oh, that's very cool.
With the Jeep on the trailer. So I'll get like 7 miles a gallon. And it'll It was part of the calculus that went into divesting of the Ram when I did. It was like it's 9 years, 120,000 miles. It's been absolutely perfect, and I've towed a trailer with it literally the entire time I've owned it. I'm like, it might be fine for another 5 years, or the transmission could fall out tomorrow. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the thing with trucks. If you use them like trucks, they tend to work great until they stop.
Yeah, there's no like, oh geez, it's kind of starting to go. It's like, yeah, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Clunk.
Right.
Is that bad? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
What was that noise?
and of course 12 miles per gallon in traffic. That was the other part of it.
Yeah, that's tough.
I was like, ooh.
Yep.
And
right.
because it was a Ram, it was starting to rot all around the whole back end.
Yeah.
But which hurts
rust.
Hoping we won't have as bad of a deal because we haven't seen winter here in like 3 years. So.
Do they even salt things in Virginia?
They do. They brine the roads.
Okay.
So, but the thing is, it's for such a small season. It's like a 2-month, if that. Where you've got salt on the roads in Mass from like late October until late April.
Right.
It's almost 6 months.
Well, down here, the only way you're going to get salt on your vehicles if you take it down to the beach and drive it in the water.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah, but your paint fades from the sun, which it does here too.
Yeah.
It does here too.
Yeah, I don't know. The paints are better these days. I mean, that used to be a thing. Like in the 80s paint was awful for fading.
I've seen quite a few vehicles here in Virginia with just the roof is like it looks like it's been sandblasted.
Interesting.
And these are like one of them was less than 10-year-old. It's a Nissan Altima or something. An Altima. It was not an old car. This was relatively new, like maybe one generation ago.
I think I see the things I see the most of the plastic.
Oh yeah.
Color.
That happens, especially when you get heat.
You see those god awful ugly avalanches driving around with the faded ass plastic on them that just look ugly. They look even uglier than they did when they were new.
Well, I always wondered about those in places like Massachusetts or like Minnesota or like Nebraska, where you get bitter cold winters and insanely hot summers.
Crack.
Exactly. And it shrinks and it expands and shrinks and expands. I'm like, that thing's 10 years old. That back window is just going to be dead.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, no thanks.
Pass.
They did, however, pioneer the screw this. We're putting all plastic around the rocker panels so you can't see the rust when it happens.
Hey, there's the benefit.
We're going to hide it.
Smart.
I'd kind of like to rhino line my next truck. The outside.
Oh. They do that. They do a lot. You see that kind of down here a lot, especially with the guys that drive off road.
It's not the worst idea. That finish is practically indestructible.
Right.
I mean, you got to work hard to damage that. Like you have to like be trying.
Oh yeah.
Like you have to have like a drill, or firearms,
or bash the shit out of it on something.
And it's just I've seen some of the beds that were rhino lined, and it's like people had like cinder blocks.
I've had it on my last 2 trucks, and it's fantastic in a bed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
way better than the old plastic bed liners. Way better.
The second Ram I owned had a bed liner, and
did it rust underneath it?
That was a lease. I got that Ram like right when we first got married and we were building a house, and I didn't want to have a full-on truck payment while we were doing the financing, but we needed a truck because we bought all of our appliances and whatnot. And what happened was it wasn't installed completely properly, so that all the edges, it just rubbed the paint right off. Gone.
Okay.
And it didn't rust though because it was always friction.
Always rubbing on it.
So there's never any rust. But
hey,
yeah, I figured it. The last one I had, I didn't even bother. I just bought a $50 rubber mat, and that was fine. I was like,
yep.
Went through all this crap, and $50 mat did just fine. So
Yeah.
Anyway,
All right,
we are way over.
1:15. Yeah.
We got the yammering and
Yep. Click
it
and
was
clack and
it
old
was
car
mostly
talk.
car talk, yes.
Yeah. Brita would have hated it.
With a little bit of impeach
And
Biden.
if you're having to sit through this and watch it, Brita, we're very sorry.
Oh, she's not going to sit through this and watch it.
Hope you're feeling better.
Yeah,
And,
feel better, Rita.
Be back next week.
And we'll do show and tell next week.
Right.
So,
Right. Bye,
all right.
everybody.
Good night, y'all.